Good morning, everybody. I'm coming to you from my desk. It's more relaxing than the studio, the live room, video room, but yeah, it's been a while. How's everybody doing? Jesse Johnson, Matt Delahunt, Mark B, Jeremy Baker, Josh Babbitt, McCullum Music, 36 in Georgia. It is 30 here in Nashville, but we're warming up. I always say after a big cold snap that's the last one, but you never know. We're going to be like 70 on Monday, I think, here in Nashville. Where did I get the Midnight Special hat, Brian Ness? I subscribed to their YouTube channel. They have a great YouTube channel. Just go to the Midnight Special. Not right now, I'm saying after this. Midnight Special YouTube channel, subscribe to them, and then they've got all their merch there that you can click on. But yeah, I didn't grow up watching Midnight Special. I'm too young, but I watch it now. David Belcher, Phil Fernandez, Chicago. How cold is it there? Christian Hanley, Duke, Jason B, Orange County. Man, we're in Orange County. I keep on looking for houses in Orange County. It's too expensive, man. Southern California, it's too expensive. Eric Salcedo, Magandang Umaga. John Ferrix in 1973. You're about to buy your first rat pedal today. Awesome. Flatbox LED. Have you ever used one in my career? You know what? I was late to the game with rat pedals. I had a friend in high school that had one, and I remember trying it out, and it might have been a turbo rat, actually. It was the 90s, so I didn't like it, but I didn't really know anything about tone back then. And then once I started doing pedal demos, I started getting, rat copies or rat influence pedals, and the JHS, what is it called? The one that has all the multiple versions of rats. Playing around with that was cool because I figured out which versions of the rat circuit I really liked, which I can't remember what, but I guess I'm picky about certain rat circuits. That and the 1981 Inventions one I like. Toronto, Lorenzo in Toronto. Oh, Europeans, how are you? Good morning. Sunset, so good evening. New Zealand, Brett Lemon. -20 in Toronto. Oh, geez. Is that Fahrenheit or Celsius? LPD pedals, 50 in Mesa. Santa Ana. So did you go to the NAMM show then, Jason B? Check out this little tumbler that I got. So, if you don't know, I bought an espresso machine last month and slowly have been making latte art and whatnots, but I figured that 8 ounces is my perfect coffee drink. Anything more is just too much milk, but an 8-ounce latte / cappuccino is my jam. That and a cortado. That's all I will drink. Mini Yeti, yeah, that's right. Cushman NYC. Thank you, and Egi Magam. I can never pronounce your name. So what's happening in the guitar music news? Anything interesting that everyone's talking about? Yeah, I'm out of the loop. What's new? There's a new store opening up here in Nashville called Guitars to be Played. They are having their grand opening today. I might stop by for a little bit later. It's not too far from downtown. Jeremy Baker, my latte art is great. Man, me, I don't know if Buddy Blues is in the chat yet, but him and I text each other our latte art. And I've been doing it for like a month, I guess, trying to practice. It's hit or miss with me. It really depends how good I can steam my oat milk, which is it's 50-50. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's trash. As long as the drink tastes good, which is always the time, always, it always tastes good. It was literally one of the best purchases. I can't believe I waited this long to get like a real espresso machine. It's not even a real espresso machine. It's a good one. Single boiler. JD Brown just got the Gentleman. That's a good pedal. I'm jealous. I wish I thought of that pedal. That's right. BC Rich Brian May has a signature. Is a 12 string, right? The Gibson. I saw him and Ariel. I forget her last name, but they just did something in England promoting it. Do I play video games? Ruben, yes. Well, I only play one. And I was going to ask you guys, if anyone plays Fortnite and wants to play not in the chat, but in the comment section, so I have record, so I can see it easily. Drop your screen name for Fortnite or Epic or whatever. That's the only video game I play, and I play that daily now. Not too much, not too long. I'll play maybe like 30 minutes at a time, 40 minutes tops. But that's the only game I play, Fortnite. I think it's like it's casual enough for me where I can just have fun and not get way too into it. That's right, McCollum Music. Fortnite. Get on it. It's a nice family-friendly game. Because it's cool, because you shoot people and you kill them, but there's no blood. They just, get, sucked into the atmosphere. Jeremy Baker, yeah. Just drop it in the comment section, and I'll try to add everybody, and then we can start playing. Once I get good, maybe I'll start streaming some games on my channel, or maybe I'll start a second gaming channel. Jeremy Baker's just got a Rev D40, and it's going to force you to ditch your orange. Rev's got some good stuff, and I believe they got some new stuff coming out this year that I can't talk about because I haven't seen it yet. Just heard about it. Do I play a Flying V? No, I've owned a Flying V. I owned a white one. Well, it was given to me by Gibson for a tour, and I kept it. But it's not practical for me to play a Flying V because I play sitting down most of the time nowadays. What is my amp? Go-to amp for small gigs. Well, the last small gig, I don't know, the last small gig I did. For the longest time, it was a Swart AST, like a little 112. I think it's like 22 watts. And I've taken that on, gigs with a fairly loud drummer, and I was thoroughly impressed, but it doesn't stay clean all the way up, so a Vibrolux Reverb was always my go-to. And actually, did I sell it? I still have mine, but I think I'm going to sell it. I'm telling you, the Michael Landau DeVille, I think would, I haven't gigged with it yet, but I think that would make a really good all-around amp. Small gig, big gig. Buddy Blues, you play Fortnite? You didn't tell me that. Buddy Blues 22. You're 22 years old. BC Rich, your daughter plays Fortnite, but she is convinced all guitar players are uncool based on dad. Oh man, I'm behind on the chat. Let's see here. If you want my attention, I might see it if you type the at symbol RJ Ronquillo. Let's see here. Okay. Ryan Hall used to watch Midnight Special back in the day. I feel like back in the day, my earliest memory of seeing music on TV was probably like Solid Gold or like I have like very faint memories of like the Donnie and Marie show, like maybe when I was 2 years old or something. But Hee Haw, that had music, right? Solid Gold, Hee Haw. Gosh, I can't even remember. Like, name some other like late '70s, early '80s variety shows that had music. Can't think. But Hee Haw, I do remember seeing Roy Clark and um, what's his face? The guy with the red, white, and blue acoustic. Don Kirshner's rock concert. Donnie and Marie, yeah. I kind of remember seeing that. American Bandstand, yeah. I mean, that I remember as a young kid as well. I don't remember seeing Don Kirshner. I might have been too young for that. Buck Owens, that's right. I was going to say Don Rich, but it's not Don Rich, Buck Owens. Yeah, I remember seeing Hee Haw, and the very earliest images of a guitar on TV was probably Buck Owens with that red, white, and blue acoustic. And then Roy Clark, he had a guitar learning system, and they had an infomercial. And I remember it was something that had to deal with like sticking stickers on the fretboard or something. And I remember that commercial. Night Music, Grant Stoblin. That I didn't watch Night Music until I was already playing guitar. This was probably like late '80s, early '90s, where I would watch that Night Music. I love Night Music. David Sanborn, Night Music. John Five loved Hee Haw. That's right. John Five went to my high school in Grosse Pointe, Michigan. John Lowry. I think he still has family there. But no, he was much older than me, and I never met him. Ryan Hall had the Roy Clark guitar book. That's right. So it had stickers, right? Okay, let me see if I can get all these comments in order. LPD, what all do I know about the Landau de Ville? It says inspired by, so I wouldn't take it as he was directly involved, maybe. So my understanding is that Mike was using standard stock hot rod DeVilles as backline and gigging, and he liked it, but he wanted to make changes and kind of customize it to what he needed for his gigs. So it's basically I guess it's one clean channel with two different master volumes and a boost on the second volume knob setting or whatever. So it's really more just the ultimate clean pedal platform gigging amp that Mike needed at the time. So really, to me, it's just like the best pedal platform combo gigging amp. But it's not. Yeah, I think they label it as Michael Landau inspired. Probably just, if it was the signature, then he might be obligated to only play that all the time. And obviously, he's not going to just play one amp or one guitar all the time. Yes, I am a youngin', Mr. Steve Perry. Hullabaloo, I've heard. Paul Revere and the Raiders. Yeah, I mean, there's some great, late 60s, 70s music shows. BC Rich. I tried drinking Michelob just because it was sponsored. It sponsored Night Music with Sanborn. What was the other Sessions on West 54th? That was another good kind of 90s show. I think that was the first time I saw Mark Ribot and his Cuban band. That's how I got into them. King Biscuit Hour. There are quite... Oh, Kappa. You're talking to Kappa. Yeah. I remember... early days, trying to get a Marshall sound in a box was... You either had, like, a full-tone OCD... But I think I went for the Zvex Box of Rock. That was like the first amp in a box pedal that I used, that I actually gigged with and toured with. Now there's so many choices. Gosh, remember the early days of boutique pedals? How limited it was. Oh yeah, we can't forget Austin City Limits. That's probably the best one for a guitar player. So many iconic performances on that show. So I have so the video that I did with Rich Rankin from James Tyler Guitars, we were talking about all those fancy pickup configuration and switching. I sent back my my first Tyler, the Tuckerberry Schmear, the blue and purple one. I sent that back to California with him so they could outfit it with the, I guess, new pickups. I should find out what they're going to do. But I wanted basically that switching system put in. And I'm not sure if they need to swap out the single coil pickups for something else to be able to stack it with, or I don't know. I'm going to have to find that out. But I'm looking forward to that, because that's kind of what I didn't know that I wanted until I started playing around with the different sound settings. But I still have my second Tyler here, Black Ice, and Quad Cortex. I think it's the same patch. It's my AOR Glory patch. See if you can hear it. That should be coming out in stereo. I was trying to do a live stream on Instagram a couple days ago, and I don't think it comes out stereo. At least I couldn't figure out how to do it on stereo. Sir William of Bologna the Third, Europe had Beat Club and Grey Whistle Test. Yeah. Those old Grey Whistle Tests from the early 80s are great. That's a lot of delay. Circular delay. That too much? LPD pedals Instagram isn't stereo, mono left right. If it were stereo, I would have been doing live streams for less. Yeah, I mean, I'll stick with YouTube live streaming because I don't need to do mono. Yes, that was Richard Marx. Buddy Blue says Instagram is stereo if the user has an iPhone, to which you ask them to turn the phone sideways. I gotta ask someone to turn it sideways in my live stream? No thanks. Okay, Eric is asking, do I still have the Kingtone switch in my Strat, the white Strat? Yes. I bought I don't know what they call it now. I think it was called the classic Kingtone switch I still have in my Sen Strat. I bought the other version, which I think is like the blues. I think they call it the blues switch or maybe the SRV switch. Basically, it was more tuned. It was more based on like an SRV style tone stack or whatever. I put that on a purple Frankenstein Strat I put together. I sold that last year. But I like the classic switch a little bit more. Tom McCall, Landau played some great parts on those Richard Marx tunes. Yeah, and what I heard was a lot of the guitar parts on that album were actually from the demo. So I guess Richard kept a lot of the demo tracks that Mike played and maybe some of the keyboard bass parts or whatever. Because I think on Spotify there's like a extended version or something of the album, with like the demo versions. And if you listen to it, it's the exact same guitar sound, guitar parts that you hear on the master recording. So likely, and I heard that Landau didn't get paid for that. He was just doing it as a favor to Richard because it was just a demo. So it's possible that Landau didn't even get paid for that record. Dakota Rolfie, hey RJ, would you possibly be able to give a brief overview of some of the plugins you use for Don't Lose My Number? I've tried to find the old live stream and can't. So, okay, so I did a cover of Phil Collins' Don't Lose My Number. It's on Spotify, and I think the video is still on YouTube. But I basically used Overloud THU and get the Studio Ace pack, which is one of Michael Nielsen's awesome 80s style packs. I believe the patch I used was it's based on an Amy Grant song. What you won't do for love or something. It's not. I don't know if that's the title. Basically, it sounds like that, but that's the patch that I use for that song as well as a lot of the transatlantic radio stuff. It just has this like thin sounding thing that fits right in the mix. You don't really have to EQ it or whatever. Sean McDonald, yes. This is, well, it doesn't have all the LA switches. It only has 2 of them. I'm getting one put in. I'm getting all the LA switches put in on the other Tyler. But yeah. Let's see here. Session Gold. Andrew Raharo is selling a real 1-for-1 tri-stereo chorus. Are you getting one? Or are you planning on building a rack? I think I might have seen that on Instagram. I would love to get a rack tri-stereo chorus, but it would only make sense if I had everything else, you know? So if I'm going to get a rack tri-stereo chorus, then I have to get a rack preamp and a compressor and a rack delays and reverbs. So I don't know if I want to open up that door. Buddy Blues. Rick Derringer handed me $50 when I was opening for him, and his amp crapped out, and he used mine. And Landau didn't get paid for fireworks for record. I didn't get paid for a Santana record I played on. So there's that. But I did get paid for the Tupac record, so I got paid by a dead guy. But I never got paid by who was Santana's label? Arista, maybe? It's fine. I was young, I was green, I didn't know what I was doing, I didn't know what an invoice was, I didn't know how to make an invoice. It's fine. I'll let it slide. But I'm just saying. Sean Mack, we love getting paid by dead cats. Hey, Ted Nagurski, you got the Hallmark CD. Was that the one with the Hot Rod song that I made? That was fun. Travel by rocket. Yes, okay. Thank you, Mac. I gotta say hey to Mac. Guys, if you don't follow Mac on the socials, my favorite blues guitar player, next to Buddy Blues. But it's a different kind of blues. But, yeah, man. And a great collection of vintage guitars as well. The Cortex patch. So this one you can actually download it. If you have Quad Cortex and you go on Cortex Cloud, you can actually download it. It's called RJ's 80s AOR Glory. And it's the only patch I have on my account that you can download. But so the clean sound, I don't remember what I did. What is this? So I actually made a capture. This is awful. So I made a neural capture of the plugin that I use on the computer, which is based on Akasha Rock Mod preamp clean sound that apparently Dan Huff used or something. So I actually made a capture of a capture. And you can do that because it's 2025. Buddy Blues, we have yet to play the Tupac riff in one of our demos. Let's do it for the next LPD one. I don't even remember how to... I think it's an E flat. That doesn't sound right. I'm trying to play bass parts and the guitar part. I think it's an F. I could be wrong. Michael Nielsen, we were just talking about you. So did you catch the thing where I made a neural capture from my Quad Cortex for one of your captures on Overloud THU? Because so the origin of this patch was last year the AOR band project that I'm in, and big news coming this year. We had gigs in Europe, in Copenhagen and Sweden. And we all wanted to make the live band sound almost identical to what we recorded. So I wasn't going to bring a laptop with overloud running on it. So I got a quad Cortex. And I started actually messing around with what was built into quad Cortex, and it was okay. But I wanted to see what it would sound like if I just took a neural capture of the actual, plugin that I used. And it worked great. And it, as long as it's going direct, as long as the quad Cortex is going direct and not into an amp, I think it would have worked great. The sad part of the story is I got COVID right before I had to fly out, so I never made the gig. So I never got to use this live. But maybe this year. But the dirty sound, I believe I have a, what is this? An EV10, I don't know. I think this is maybe an EVH type of amp. I gotta turn off my LA switches, hold on. You can't see the guitar. I think that's, well, no, I made so many different presets that I was testing out that I wasn't sure if I was going to use one, dirty sound, for all of the songs, or I was going to switch them up. Yo, Ben Coombs is here. Michael Nielsen. Thank you for your super chat, buddy. What pickups do I have in the Tylers? What pickups do I spec in my Tylers? So this one this guitar I didn't spec out. I bought this from Wildwood Guitars. And the story is, I think I've told this story to certain friends, but I saw this, I think on Reverb. I don't think I saw it on the Wild West Guitars. But my first thought was ooh, that's a cool guitar. I've never seen that finish on a Tyler. It looks new and different. And I like the specs. I like the Floyd. There's a Floyd maple neck, figured maple neck. Parallel. There's a parallel switch, but there's no other fancy toggle switches on this. But I saw it and I'm like, I bet Neil Sean's gonna buy that because at the time I thought that Neil was buying a bunch of Tylers, a bunch of super stratty looking Tylers that I wanted. And I saw it. I'm like, I better buy that one before Neil buys it. So this is Michael Nielsen. This is Black Ice. So it's I think it's a special finish just for Wildwood. So they're the only dealer that can order this finish. I think I missed some comments. Hold on. Texas Blues Alley. Using two Kempers to profile each other repeatedly to see how bad it gets. That would be a good video if I had two Kempers. Just go back and forth to see how it degrades. Ted Nagurski, so that Hallmark Guitars thing that I played on, yeah. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one. It's been a while. Christian Hanley, I would have won so many Battle of the Bands in high school if I had a dialer. That's all I would have taken. That's right. Actually when I play, well, not Battle of the Bands, but talent shows, I only had two guitars. I had my Blue Fender Strat, which is somewhere on the rack, and my Desert Sun Yellow Francambali Ibanez. Radar Windows, will I tour again? Yes. If the right call comes through, or if I book something on my own for my own projects. Trying to outbid a member of Journey's tour. Yeah. It wasn't a bidding thing. It was just I wanted to buy it before he did. I still like to clean. I'm sorry. I don't know. S. Kowalchuk, what is the nature of existence? I don't know. Try stereo chorus, stereo circular delays. That's why we exist. Ryan Hall, do I still have those amps for sale? Yes. I don't even remember which ones I was selling, but I haven't sold anything, so. What's 42? What did I miss? Ted Nagurski, I should reform the Del Guapos and play the Tiki Oasis Festival. I could. Is that in San Diego? Where's the Tiki Oasis? Any excuse to go to San Diego. When is it? 5-night, 4-day, August 6th. Ooh. That would be fun. Who's performing? Ryan from 60 Cycle Hum. Oh, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, yeah. Good call. Brett Lemon, I've been getting into playing Toto Rosanna. That's a good one. Was that played on a Les Paul? I think it was. Have I ever played a Frantone pedal? I don't think I have. But I am familiar. You hear that glassy top end on the treble strings? So I'm going to turn off the preamp on the Tyler. Here's the preamp. That's it does it, man. I don't know what it is. It's that extra 5% that makes the sound. Here's the preamp off. That sounds like a Fender, like a regular Strat. And that sounds like the 80s right there. And the preamp is all the way down. I just have it activated with the volume or the gain of the preamp all the way off. It just makes it's just like a comb filtering or whatever Rich said. It's like an EQ preset. Rico B, that's a cool guitar. Is that a Satchel guitar? How much do I practice a week? You know, I try to and I still do this, and I talked about this. I try to do some noodling before bed, and I've always found that I'm more creative like right before bed, like late night. Not late night. I go to bed at like 10:30, 11, but for some reason, I'll just sit in the living room, undisturbed, no TV on, and just come up with stuff. And a lot of times I have like tons of video clips of me coming up with like song ideas, riffs, licks that I've never played before. And for some reason, it only happens in the evening. Like if I try to play guitar early in the morning or even in the middle of the day, it's fine. But for some reason, I'm like way more creative at night, which is why we play music at night, I guess. I don't know. Basil Tiffany, how many power tubes do I keep on hand? Gosh, I can't remember the last time I changed tubes in one of my amps. Maybe 10 years ago or something. I don't know. Robert Baker. Robert Baker got a new guitar. I don't know if you've announced it yet, so I won't say anything, but it's cool. Me and Robert Baker have played Fortnite. Robert, have you figured out the new season yet? 40 Watt Podcast. We're talking about oat milk. Hold on, I got to get on this oat milk conversation with Jeff. What are we talking about? Jeff McElwain and 40 Watt Podcast are having a discussion about oat milk, y'all. And I want to go to the origins. Where is this? I don't know what you're talking about. Hold on. I'm spying on your conversation, guys. I think oat milk coffee tastes really gosh, you guys have been talking about this for a while. Oh, okay. Is this the original one? To me, Jeff? What's my go-to plant milk for coffee? It's usually oat milk, even though I would I like soy milk better. Buddy Blues wants in on this too. 80s clean tone and oat milk. So my go-to oat milks, man, I can deal with anything really. Chobani Extra Creamy was my jam, and then I've tried Hidden Figures and Oatly Barista Blend. They're fine. I don't have a favorite. Soy milk, Silk, unsweetened. I don't know. I like the Chobani Extra Creamy, just because it's the fattiest. Mike Jones, I didn't schedule this live stream until like the last minute because for some reason I had it on private until this morning. Session Gold, you can also buy a loaded pickguard from James Tyler directly, but they're also expensive. Yes. So Andrew from that 80s Shmoo, I think is making a mid-boost circuit that you can buy. The thing is, to me, it's a little bit more than just the mid-boost circuit is your starting point, but really the money is in the being able to switch the pickups to series parallel, and having combinations of that. Especially with the bridge humbucker, if you can get it to parallel, that makes a big difference. I don't know if I can demonstrate it for you. So this is the humbucker by itself. This is the humbucker with the preamp on. And this is the humbucker in parallel with the preamp on. It's all about that top end. It almost sounds like an acoustic. Special. Oh, I am so far behind in the chat. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, I just fast forwarded. John Zucker, have I ever tried the Synergy stuff? Very briefly. A couple years ago, I guess the last NAMM that I went to in 2020. There was like a YouTuber event the week before, or the Tuesday before the NAMM show, and we all got to make videos at Boutique Amp Distribution and like interview, Morgan and Wampler and Friedman and stuff. But we also got to interview Steve Vai, and he was releasing his Synergy module that year. So I got to, play around with that, early on, but that's about it. I don't own a Synergy system, although it'd be cool. Remember back in the day when I was living in South Florida, and a friend of mine had like the Egnator module system. It was a little too much for me at that point, as far as like too many options and modules. I just wanted to play like a Fender Bassman. Party Watt Podcast just picked up a Lizzie Hale. Nice. That's a fun looking guitar. Amp recommendations for the Shred. Oh, man. What is a good shreddy amp? You know what? Look at Engel. Engel makes some really cool amps. I used to use a Screamer 50 on gigs, and that was like one of the funnest amps to use, just because it did like classic rock. It did, hard rock. It could get kind of modern metal-y if you set it right and use some pedals, but like some of those Engels are fun. I need to get an Engel here. Should I ban somebody from this chat that or maybe I'll let Ben Coombs do the banning. Ben, I give you permission to ban any trolling and wastes of time in this chat. I'll just do it. Okay, you're banned. You're banned. I don't even know who these Florida people are. Why not? Bots. Bots! All of them. Ben Coombs has sunglasses and behind a Matrix style desk. He's got like 5 computer screens. Moderating all the chats at once. What a guy from Broward County. I don't understand the point of all this stuff. Why is it Florida? Why has it got to be Florida? Is this a new thing that have you guys been dealing with these bots or whatever? Because I haven't live streamed in a couple weeks, so they must have been attracted to the schmo. The schmo, of course, is the chorusy goodness that you hear right now. AJ Stone, that's what Ben Coombs is, the moderator to the Stars, so he's the OG. Ted Nagurski, have I ever gotten into a cutting session? Not like Ralph Macchio and Crossroads, but a guitar battle where you were trying to beat somebody else. No. Not necessarily with a guitar player, but I used to do these like jams in Miami with some friends, and they were jams, and we would always try to outdo each other just to have fun because we were bored on the gig, but it was all in fun. It was never, I never had a guitar battle with another guitar player. Oh, Vinny of Hialeah. Nah, you're not from Hialeah. Coño, bro. Coño, bro, you're banned. It's fun to see these screen names pop up, like what were the other ones? Hialeah, Broward County. The sad thing is he actually has content on these bad channels. Well, he's trying to make money. Or she. Or it. Maybe, I think it's a bot. It's an AI bot. We're all being run by AI. Buddy Blues, let's do guitar battle. I gotta get going a little bit. Buddy Blues, let's do a guitar battle in live stream, but we just throw pedals at each other. Could we, I don't know. I've never done like those Pokemon card games or whatever, so I don't really know how it works. But if there's a way we could do something like that with pedals and like you slam down like your clon and I try to beat it with a Rockman or something, I don't know. McCall Music knows about Broward. Mike Jones says, turn on the top chat filter only and you won't get those bots. I have it turned on. But for you guys in the chat, you probably won't see it. But I'm watching. Ion Effects Gladiator. I think I demoed it. We're just waiting. I'm waiting for the green light to release my videos. I demoed a bunch of like Ion Effects a while back, and I think he might be waiting on parts, but he told me March to publish all those videos. Rich Rankin was telling me about a show that I don't watch a lot of TV, but it's a show that Gillian Anderson was on a while back. What's it called? But I guess all of the characters are named after guitar companies. You know this show I'm talking about? I'm looking. But is it The Fall? Yeah. Characters named after guitar brands. I never watched the show, but he was showing me like the list of characters, and like there's a character named Professor Reed Smith, which I thought was funny. But like all of their last names are like Fender and Martin and Gibson, obviously. Let's see. Cast main characters. Stella Gibson, that's her character. Peter Paul Spector. Jim Burns, Constable Jim Burns. Katie Benedetto. Spector. Danielle Farrington. So that's kind of deep cut guitar brands, but you got Farrington, Inspector Matthew Eastwood. That's a good one. Gail McNally. I don't know. Is there a guitar band named McNally? Glenn Martin. Yeah, Professor Reed Smith. Sergeant Tom Anderson. I think there is a James Tyler character he showed me. Yeah, James Tyler is a gangster. Detective Rob Breedlove. There's another good one. David Alvarez. And I think the creator specifically did that because he thought it would be fun. Brett Lemon, does the series wiring increase the output also? So on the Tyler, when the pickup is in parallel, it drops the volume. I think it's 40% or whatever. So it's almost like putting a low wind pickup in place of it. But I think series is basically how the pickup is supposed to sound like, unless it's a single coil. So like if you have stacked single coils, you have the option of series, parallel, or split. So split would actually be the way a Strat single coil would sound. But you have the option of making it sound kind of like a humbucker plus a parallel humbucker, which is pretty interesting on a single coil. But I wouldn't say it makes it louder. It's just that the parallel makes it quieter. Couple more questions and then I gotta let the dogs out. Shark Air, what's my main amp? Today, I usually lean towards the Friedman twin sister for demos. That's like an all around good amp that has kind of a really nice edge of breakup, but that or the Amplified Nation Wonderland Overdrive. Smart Mammal maybe trying the RV living thing full time. I want to say there's another YouTuber channel, Dylan Talks Tone, that I think was doing that for a little bit. I think he was living in his I think it was a Class A, like a big Class A RV for a minute, and he was filming videos in it. But I never figured out where he kept all his gear or whatnot. What are we talking about? Karate Kid. I'm going back in the chat a little bit. Jeremy Baker and Robert Baker, not related. I don't think. Robert Baker, best 80s movie soundtrack. Oh, man. You're going to have to ask Sunglasses Kid about that. Best 80s movie soundtrack. And we're talking about original music and not just putting... Oh, that's a good one. Kickbox. Yeah. Kickboxer's really good. I'd have to think about that. I'd have to re-listen to some stuff. As far as guitar stuff, man, there's some deep cuts. I don't know. Rocky IV, maybe? Rocky IV is pretty good. Oh, it's the answer is Miami Connection. And I don't even think that's 80s. That might be like early 90s. Have you guys seen Miami Connection? It's one of those Yeah, that's 1987. It's one of those wonderfully bad movies, but you got to watch it because they have a band and it's ridiculous. The Chris Penn movie that Van Halen did the soundtrack for. Oh, what was it called? Remember when Chris Penn was in Best of the Best? That was a good martial arts movie. That was one of my favorite. Battle Tiffany, The Last Dragon. That is a good one. Top Gun and Footloose. I think as far as like having songs from artists, Footloose, yeah, absolutely. I bought that soundtrack when I was a kid and I loved every single song on it. Almost Paradise, what a great song. And the one song where he's like in the train station yard and he's doing all the gymnastics. Hide Your Heart or whatever. Lost Boys had a good soundtrack. The Wildlife. Okay, yeah. Steve Resor, Hot Dog. I saw Hot Dog in the theater. I don't know what my parents were thinking, but I was probably only like 6 years old or something when I saw Hot Dog. And I'm like, what am I watching? And another good deep cut is Up the Creek. That was kind of like a National Lampoon's kind of a failure of a movie, but it had a lot of the Animal House actors in it. And for some reason, we had that on VHS or Betamax or something, and I would watch that all the time as a kid. Richard Cardinale, how old am I? I am pushing 50. I'm not quite 50 yet, but I'm pushing it. Hollywood Nights. Is that the one with Tony Danza? All right, a couple more questions, and then I'll let the dogs out. So I demoed a bunch of guitars for Carter a while back, and one of the guitars I can't stop thinking about, and it's this 70s player grade Birdland. That there was a time where I was looking to buy a Birdland, and I demoed one. I played one, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the short scale. But for some reason, maybe the way this was set up or modified, this one that they have at Carter, I was shocked that it played good. And now I kind of want to buy it. Juan Cortez, can I show a demonstration where you use a dotted eighth and quarter note delay to make it sync without me losing rhythm in live situations? I feel it gets out of sync. Well, having your delays synced up with whoever you're playing with, it really depends. I mean, if the band is on a click, because you need to be on a grid or a click to have your delays always be in time with the drummer and whatnot. So unless you're going to be constantly tap tempoing to keep up if the drummer shifts, because most drummers are going to shift a little bit, but yeah, if you're losing rhythm on that, it's probably your drummer's fault. Let's just blame it on the drummer. Thoughts on 2-Rock amps? You know, I've played a couple that I really liked. I don't own any, but they are very premium. They're very good amps. I suddenly realized a P90 just might be the most useful neck pickup ever. I love P90s in the bridge or the neck. Work in progress. Any recommendations on a good ping pong delay pedal? Get the Keeley Halo. I mean, if you're going to do ping pong delay, it's got to be run in stereo. And I feel like the Keeley Halo is just easy to get going. It's small. But I've used Eventides. I've used Source Audio. Nemesis was a good one that I used. Obviously, Strymon. But for me, I would personally just grab a Keeley Halo. And I like it so much, I have two. All right, y'all. I'm going to go, but I appreciate the hang. Sorry about the South Florida bot trolls. Hopefully they're not coming anymore. Joseph Brian Garcia, can I suggest a good Telecaster pickup for hard rock? Yeah. Get a Duncan Little 59. I think I put that in my LSL Paisley when I was touring, just because I needed something quiet and something that was, could do some rock stuff, and that was awesome. So get like a Duncan bridge pickup sized humbucker. I think they make a Little 59. They probably make like a Screamin' Demon George Lynch one, but the Little 59 or even the JB Jr. would be good too. All right, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hopefully it warms up where you are. And if you play Fortnite, drop your screen name, game name in the comments section. Not in the chat, but in the comment section. And maybe we'll play this weekend. Thank you, Juan Cortez. Appreciate the super chat. You know, I'm not going to put the JHS little thing anymore. That's an old bit. I need to change my my outros, except for Joe Coy, because he's the best. Joe Coy out. See you guys.